Hello, everybody, and welcome back. We are about to start our second semifinal for the PSS4. I'm Michael Hoyp. I'm joined in the booth by Brian Kowal. BK, what are you looking forward in this match, BK? We've got Aaron Dix up against Tom Metelsky. What are you looking to see?
Well, I don't know what decks they're playing, um, but I know that Tom banned zombies and Aaron banned um,
I have it as
something.
Sly, is what I.
Sly. He banned Sly. That's right.
Yeah.
I I hope that Aaron's playing red because I don't want to watch Fluctuator, and I also think it's a choice. I just de- despite losing to that deck, I don't. I just don't love it as a choice. Um, I'm kind of hoping Tom's playing blue white, but he's probably playing Dreadnought, right?
I mean,
Jesus Dreadnought, right?
historically, like the Dreadnought decks have a good matchup against red decks,
Yeah,
so he might be
and he
drawn to
probably has a
that.
good matchup against Fluctuator, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to think how many the interaction cards interact.
Mhm.
I don't know. Trying to think if Stifle does anything against like what the Fluctuator deck is trying to do.
I think it doesn't,
Yeah,
but I think you just need. I feel you mathematically just need more counter spells in your deck than Fluctuator has Fluctuators,
okay.
and you should win
All right, let's
as long as
figure
you
out
don't
what
get
they're
stuck.
playing. We'll jump down to their decks. So first, Aaron has decided to go with the Sly deck. So Aaron is known
Right.
for his red deck, and that's what he's going to put his semifinal uh, life on the line with, the trusty red deck. Yeah, I mean, we've seen this deck before. It's a consistent mainstay in pre-modern. Aaron has adapted the Urza's Bauble that a lot of people have played with. It just makes reduces the deck size so that you can draw the better burn spells as compared to the ones that would be there are a little bit worse. So very aggressive, looks to aim the game quickly, but yeah, fast, consistent, powerful, a very good deck.
Mhm.
He will be up against the mono blue Stifle Knot. So more dreadnoughts in our future tonight. Tom is looking to put a dreadnought into play. Same thing with Stifler or Vision Charm as the other versions do. He only has blue cards to complement this dreadnought, which gives him more of a permission based counter strategy. Mano was a little bit more proactive with cards like Duress and Cabal Therapy and Meddling Mage, while Tom will react with cards like Foil and Daze and counter spells. So,
Yeah.
what do you think of this list and maybe the matchup?
I love this list. I think it's just like one of the better decks in pre-modern. It's like super cool. Um, it's when I tested. I don't know. I tested against his list and it was like a nightmare. I didn't play against it. And it's great against Fred. So I think it'll be. I think it should be a good spot, but it's not been a good night for 12-12s today.
Okay. Let's
So
jump down to the match, and you can let the players know that they can begin. For those that are cheering for Aaron, the one of the good news is that he is on the play since he is the higher seed, so that might help him out a little bit in one of this first game. The first two games were going to be without sideboard, so I definitely would think that those games will favor the Dreadnought deck. It looks like Tom has mulligan to six, and Aaron's going to kick things off with an Urza's Bauble.
Aaron, of course, first seed in all these matches because he smashed everybody
Yes, he did a lot of winning, and he's going to hope that
except
he
for
can
Rich.
continue that. Yeah.
The bobble reveals an island.
That is as actually not telling. I think Island would be in both of the lists. I don't know. I don't remember if Tom has that version of art in both of his, but so Aaron might not know exactly. I think he knows. I think he has the inclination of what Tom would play. I think so. I think even though okay now the jig is up.
Yeah,
So
I think he.
Yeah.
I would have just expected Tom to be on this deck if I was Aaron. What did Tom ban last time? Was it Fluctuator?
I believe so. Or it might have been Sly. I think they both banned their Sly decks last time, actually.
Yeah.
All right, Lightning Bolt is going to go to the face. Really doesn't have any other targets in this match, so.
Well, if you had 4 of them.
Yeah. Can you imagine if you like had 4 bolts to kill a Dreadnought and then the last one got dazed?
I can't. That would happen to me. You have to fire blast it. I think it stays again.
All right, so how quick will we see a Dreadnought? That's typically what this deck looks to try and do in the pre-sideboarded games, especially against a deck like Red that doesn't interact very well against a Dreadnought that's on the stack. So here
Looks
we
like
see.
we're seeing one turn 2.
Yep, and we
Yeah.
got a Stifle. So I don't
Oh,
know. I'm trying to think if there's a preference, like if it really matters. I guess Vision Charm protects a little bit better, but you could stifle a Barbarian Ring activation or a fetch land or Grim Lavamancer. So I think I'd actually rather have Stifle, but I don't think it matters in this case.
Stifle lets you block a ball lightning here, which I think is really important. Right?
Why?
Blocking ball lightning?
Oh, because the Vision Charm would be phased out. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking like using. I thought you meant like using one defensively.
No, yeah, against the red decks, you always want the Stifle. Is he thinking about whether to attack?
Down to 7. Is at 14, but that's still a lot of life that Aaron will need to finish. He's got an Incinerate. I'm guessing this will be. Yes. So at 11. And we deal 11 points of damage. Got 4
Oh, there's
mana.
always hope.
Is this a Wall Lightning? It is. If Tom has any permission, I think this is the spell to fight. Like, this is the spell to foil.
Seems that way, yeah.
Or counterspell. We have a Gush, so 2 blue mana floating.
Bolt, fire blast, fire blast.
Alright. Gush is resolved. Tom's got a bunch of cards in hand. 2 of them are islands, but
11 to 7.
I mean, if he's hesitating, like, oh, okay. Nope, we got a foil. Discarding island and important. So ball lightning will get countered.
Man,
And
what foil.
yeah. Okay. Wow. Shock.
He's one short.
Wow. So that you talked about bolt, fire blast, fire blast. If that shock was a bolt, then he would have had that. Assuming that Tom didn't have another piece of counterspell, but
Tom had fetch lands, he would have been in trouble.
I feel like that happens all the time. I just like discount the red deck. I'm like, oh, there's no way they can win, and like it it just nearly beat a turn 2 dreadnought and like still almost beat like its ball lightning and getting countered.
Yeah, I don't know. I play against I play against Will Hurst on a regular basis, and he always has a red deck, and I feel like there's just been like countless times where I just don't think I could possibly lose, and it's next thing I know, there's 16 damage on me.
I'm trying to think, is there any there's no way that like Aaron could have tried to like sequence his spells differently to try and get like a fire blast countered so that he could resolve a ball lightning.
Yeah, I get
Uh,
real sneaky with it.
yeah, I don't.
I don't think Tom would have done that because he had
No.
4 cards in his hand, right? So, like, what's your sequence? Like shock, fire blast, fire blast,
Well,
floating 3 red.
shock fire blast. See if the fire blast resolves.
Yeah, that's true. That would have won it. That's probably the better sequence, right? Um, Possibly. I'm not gonna question a red master here.
Well, okay. So let's say you lead with fire blast and shock, and then you float 2 more and cast another fire blast. Like your opponent has to, if they let it resolve, they're at 1, right?
Yeah,
I guess the only card that you're like dead to is lava dart.
that'd be really cool
Oh
though.
no, you wouldn't even be dead to lava dart because the all the mountains are sacked.
Oh yeah, you're right.
um,
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think if there's a sequence that actually
if
pulls a
if
mistake
if
out
Aaron
of.
had one more card in hand, then I think then maybe you have a little bit more play because um then your fire blast actually isn't your biggest source of damage. Like if he had a
Yeah,
land just in his hand, then Tom might be afraid of like 2 burn spells. Then maybe the sequencing would change, but I don't think Aaron could have done anything differently.
okay, I just told him we can start.
Okay. I think they're looking at Mulligan, so
Oh, I think Tom just said that, so we can start game 2.
what was that?
I thought I just Tom just asked so they can start game 2.
Oh yeah, yeah. All right, we got the same way we start off the first game. We got an Urza's bubble. It's going to reveal a foil.
Oh, not what the red deck wants to see. Unless he doesn't have a dreadnought right quick.
Yeah, and then Mog Fanatic is where Aaron's gonna um, start with. We have a follow from Rhaegar24. Welcome to the stream. Thanks for your support. So, I mean, in these pre-boarded games, I'm gonna be very aggressive with any of the mulligans if I'm Tom. Like I'm looking to play a turn 2 Dreadnought as often as I can.
Yeah, for
Uh,
sure. It yeah, it's almost dicey. Like his deck is if there's a deck that's like a little worse against red that's a dreadnought deck, it probably is his because like he doesn't have any faster way to get the dreadnought out. He doesn't really have a way to tutor for the dreadnought.
mhm.
Um, so he just has a mulligan for it, more or less.
But like we said, like the deck is very good at mulliganing for this
Yeah,
combo. Basically, you just looking
especially
for
when it's
two land and a Dreadnought and a Vision Charmer Stifle. So
I didn't see we got an island get removed.
I think so.
Tom's gonna opt at the end of Aaron's turn.
So Richard asked, what makes the mono blue list of the Dreadnought better? He's not sure or see the edge. So I guess I would say the biggest draw is the combination or just having consistent gushes and foil. Uh, and being able that allows you to either play both an aggressive like game and like really turbo out your dreadnought right away and then be able to protect it, but then also kind of have a little bit of longevity. Like Gush is obviously a very powerful card, and that can kind of catch you up in certain spots where other lists might have trouble.
I think it's the best at protecting the dreadnought once it's in play.
Okay.
Because it can get to counter spells the best. I think it's a little better at getting a second one into play if it has to. It's just a little more resilient, I think, than the other ones.
Yeah, I guess Rich's counter is that the blue black gets most of those things that the blue mono blue one and has like cards like Duress, Mesmeric Fiend, or with the black. So
Yeah.
I can see
I do like
that.
the black version too.
I do like the blue black version. I think if I were to play Dreadnought, I think that is the list that I would be playing.
The last version I played was blue black. I liked it a lot. But then I played it and I could not draw dreadnoughts to save my life.
The
It
deck is a
just
little bit worse when you're not able to
I
draw
never
Dreadnought.
played dreadnought again.
All right,
I did think
this
that,
Mog fanatic keeps poking at Tom. There's been no Dreadnought, so I guess that's the good thing for from Aaron's perspective.
yeah, this is a little more fail state for both of these decks this game, it feels like.
Looks like Tom is using a Stifle on the Wooded Foothills.
Oh, that's a way to stop a ball, I think.
Wait, is this? Did he play the Wooded Foothills that turn,
I think
or was it in play?
I think that was end of turn. He
Okay.
sacked it. Probably getting counterspelled. 14.
And Aaron has 3 cards in hand, and I mean, like that Barbarian Ring might come into play. That is another way to deal damage, and also can't be countered, but could be stifled.
Tom must not have a dreadnought. But
I
still looking, right?
guess he's flooded with stifle or vision charm effects.
Maybe he has a ton of counter magic. I don't know.
Yeah, that could be. But this is kind of the draw that lines up poorly against um, if you're just looking to counter stuff. If a Mog Fanatic sneaks into play, and then you're chipping away. If you're not able to find that Dreadnought in any reasonable, timely
Yeah,
fashion, then you're just going to be at too life of a too low of a life total.
Aaron will get you into the danger zone.
There's a Grim Lavamancer. Okay.
GL. Is Tom in a place where he has to stop this Lava Mancer from hitting play?
He says
How many
yes.
cards is Aaron down to just one card?
Um, no, he should have more. He just had 3 the other turn, and he hasn't played any more
Yeah,
lands. So
he's played two bobbles.
I think he's got 3 cards in hand. Tom is going to use foil, so he's got to use 3 cards to answer this one. Island, and he's figuring out the other card he's going to discard, which is another island. So keeping that Grim Lavamancer out of play. So that probably means that, well, I mean, it's obvious that Tom doesn't have a Dreadnought. I think he would have cast it earlier, but he's probably expecting this game to go on a few more turns. Otherwise, he might save that
This is an
foil.
aspect of this deck too, though. Is like, I mean, counter magic can be good against burn spells, and he can buy him time.
Yeah, because I mean, you really need to only counter the lethal burn spell. I mean, sometimes it's a mana problem, but the with dazes and foils, you actually can counter a number of spells when you're tapped out. We do have a dreadnought, so Tom is currently at 9. So we'll see if he's able to race this. Uh, Interesting. So the Monk Fanatic will be able to deal 1. The Barbarian Ring will also be able to deal 2. So we're effectively at 6. This is not counting any card like Stifle that Tom might still have. So Tom's already used 2 Stifles.
Yeah, and we saw no burn spell from Aaron at the end of his turn, which I think is might be a bad sign for our red player.
I'm trying to think what would be the reasoning for that. I don't know.
He knows he has a turn to set up here. Maybe. Oh, he's just drawing for turn.
Okay, we'll start with the attack. That's the easy part. Well, I guess that means there's no ball lightning.
Yeah, he only needs 5 damage really because he knows he's probably going to get in with it Fnatic one more time.
Yeah.
Like he just did.
All right, Aaron's going to try and figure out the best sequencing. So he's going to tap 2 mana for an Incinerate. This would put Tom down to 5. And Aaron only has 2 more mana available right now. And he's got, I think it's 2 cards. I'm trying to think of what sequence. If you let this resolve, what is the worst that could happen?
Yeah.
You'd go to 5. Monk Fanatic would put you to 4. You'd be scared of Fire Blast and or like 2 burn spells.
Land Shock would also do it.
I think he already played a mountain.
Oh. Okay.
But I mean, you could also counter this because I can't think of.
I thought he had 4 lands in play.
No, he had 3. Because we were surprised that he didn't play a land or a spell the last turn. Well, maybe not. Maybe he cast the Grim Lava for the last turn, but
Oil Answer. He has a Fire Blast.
there is a Fire Blast. But there's a
He's gonna
misdirection.
Oof.
There's 3 more Fire Blasts.
Get all the Fire Blasts.
All right. Well, sometimes Barbarian Ring hurts you a little bit, but I guess that's the reason why he wasn't casting any spells. Is they're all just Fire Blasts.
Don't play Barbarian Ring. That's the moral of that story.
Yep. So Aaron finds himself down 0-2 against the Dreadnought deck, though he does get to look to his sideboard, which we can bring up and figure out maybe what tools he has in these sideboarded games. So Tormod's Crypt, Overload, 2 copies of Overload, 3 copies of Lava Dart, a Winter Orb, 3 copies of Red Elemental Blast, a Sulfuric Vortex, and 3 Price of Progress. So I think 2 Overloads and 3 Red Elemental Blast. Those look very good. I think I would take out Lava Dart.
Yeah.
And
Probably just your cheaper burn spell. Like just your spells that do less damage, I would say.
what is better, Shock or Curse Scroll? The one thing I'll say, like, if you board in cards like Overload and Red Elemental Blast, it gets a little bit more awkward. Like if you're trying to ever Curse Scroll, because the games might be going on and you might be holding those in your hand and you might miss because you have like a burn spell and a Red Elemental Blast and you.
Yeah.
Curse,
You're also able to make the games go a little longer where you weren't able to before, though.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's where Curse Scroll would shine for you. I'm sure Aaron knows the exact answer to this question.
Yeah, I'm sure he's played this matchup many times before.
I'm just guessing. I'm gonna say take out Shock, but maybe I might be wrong.
Yeah.
I'm probably.
All right, let's look at sideboard. 4 Annuls, 4 Hydroblast, 2 Curse Totem, 2 Null Rod, 2 Winter Orb, and a Boomerang. So definitely looking at those 4 Hydroblast. Is any of the other cards interesting enough to come in? I don't think it is. Made well. Does a null hit enough thing? I don't think it does. It hits a couple copies of Sulfur Vortex, maybe Curse Scroll. I don't think a null's any good. Um, what cards are we cutting? Boomerang? Do we cut a card
Boomerang's
like?
not good for my favorites.
Do you cut a card like Intuition or no?
It's a little on the slow side, but it's also like
You
it's
might
also a
cut.
dread, right?
You might cut the dazes as well. Some of the dazes.
He's just bringing in four Hydro Blast, right? I mean,
I think so. Yeah.
Curse Totems. I don't think Curse Totems good enough.
No.
He could bring in a null or two because he knows.
I
Um,
don't. I just don't think there's enough targets.
yeah, I agree. Yeah, you're right.
Okay. I think we're back. Chat. Can everyone
Yeah,
hear us? Um, I don't. My streaming software just crashed, so I guess it worked.
I never left the stream,
Yeah.
so I can't hear them. But
It. Chat had said that the stream stopped. I just want to get a
oh,
confirmation
okay.
that you might have
Oh,
to.
you guys.
If you are not seeing something, you might need to refresh. Okay.
Me?
Oh,
No, I can see.
no, no. I
It's
meant
fine.
I meant people in chat. I think sometimes when
Oh,
if a stream crashes, I think they might need to refresh. So, all right. Let's head back down to the match, and we can see how the sideboarded games go. All right. You can let them know that they can begin.
okay.
All right. Well, as far as like tech issues, that was not too bad. So.
Looks like they're. I don't know. I don't know. I said you may smash each other.
All right.
Aaron
Aaron's
has
gonna
turn source.
turn one fetch. He hasn't had an Urza's Wobble yet, so
Hasn't had a pup turn one yet either.
yeah. I mean, like, I'm trying to think how many times did that Mog Fanatic attack in game two? If that would have been a Jackal pup,
Dead.
yeah,
Also, how important was that stifle on the mountain?
yeah.
Pretty critical.
What deck was banned for Tom? Tom's Sly deck was banned, and then Tom banned Aaron's Zombie deck.
It's the only deck Aaron can respect.
All right.
17 for Tom. First bolt is away.
Yeah, I guess you got to kind of give
He sacks
pause
flat,
to the.
backs up.
Yep. All right.
Oh, I don't know.
Tom is gonna stifle a fetch land.
Tom's like, I'll stone rain.
Yeah. So like, would you ever make that play if you're Tom if you didn't have multiples? Assuming you don't have a dread on hand, would you like ever just make that play if you didn't have extras in your hand of stifle or vision charm?
Probably not.
Yeah, I don't think.
But maybe if you don't have a dreadnought, you do. Like if you're digging anyway. But you don't want to dig for two pieces. That's real bad.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess like if you're trying to have the game end shortly, like using one of those pieces, I think would just make the game go too many turns longer. There is a shock at the end of turn. Okay.
15.
Oh,
Can ominously say Tom's life total every time he gets hit something.
all right. So Aaron has a fetch land, and now he's able to get his mountain. There's not another stifle at this time. With 2 mana, like the threats out of Sly like aren't really that different. Most of the threats are either 1 or 3. Grim
Will
Lavamancer.
Gray.
Also, like anytime that Aaron has 1 mana up, uh, Tom needs to be conscious of a card like Red Elemental Blast or maybe
Yes.
Overload. Those are his key interaction pieces in the sideboarded games, and uh, Tom probably will try and respect it as much as he can. There might be certain situations where he feels like he just can't beat those cards, but I think Tom's gonna do his best to try and play around those cards.
I
All
hope
right,
we see piles of blasts flying at some point in this match.
all right. Well, it might be this
I
turn.
love it.
Well, okay. So we have Tom tapping out. He's got the Reality Ripple. That's a 2 mana effect to phase out the Dreadnought, and there is a Red Elemental Blast. There is a
There's
Daze.
a daze.
The Daze will get the protect the Dreadnought, and it will get phased out.
Rips the dreadnought.
All right.
You rip the dreadnought, and then you rip the dreadnought.
Yeah.
Ripple the dreadnought.
Yeah. It took me. I think you had to say it like 3 times before I got the joke.
Yeah.
So. I'm
Here's
just looking at.
Overload. It's gonna get hydroed.
Wow. Tom has all the answers. Like, I mean, from this is a draw from like there's only like really 5 interaction pieces out of Aaron, and for him to have 2 at this short of a time, Tom just has all the answers. I think Aaron probably just sunk like after that overload gets countered. Like I think that was kind of you thought, all right, yeah, that first one got countered, but I think he was hoping that
Yeah.
that overload would resolve. And once that one gets countered, I think he's in trouble.
That's what it always feels like with this dreadnought deck, though. That he gets to he might have had the dreadnought the whole time and just waiting to mold up his hand like this.
Yeah, certainly.
Um,
Like you know that your opponent is going to look to try and have those interaction pieces and to try and set up a spot because there are so many permission spells where you can defend it pretty well. Yeah, Aaron's looking, and I am hard pressed to see like how he's going to be able to deal 13 points of damage with that. We see 2 Fire Blasts and a Shock, and Aaron had a great run in the Swiss series of the PSS, but unfortunately it comes to the end in the
Only his second
semifinals.
loss of the event.
Yeah, thanks to a 3-0 sweep with the Mono Blue Stifle Not deck. So, all right, we will listen to the players. It looks like they're going to kind of show how they sideboard it, and we can get some insight from them, and we'll debrief and we'll break things down for this match and maybe talk about what we have upcoming for tomorrow.
Against that, but this version just has so much counter magic.
Yeah, that's the thing. And like, I mean, 4 Hydroblast is just brutal, right? It's removal when
Right.
needed and just stops basically everything. Yeah, it seems really difficult. But like I said, it's just like, yeah, it's like I don't know, it's like one of those matches where Sly's just a little slow.
Oh yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like to let Dreadnought sculpt its hand, because then once you get the Dreadnought in play, the clock is so fast.
Well, it always came down. The first 2 games for sure came down to 1 mana, or I'm sorry, 1 damage. Like if the shock had been a bolt, or if I'd had an extra mountain instead of the barbarian ring, or whatever it was each time. It was just like it's so close to being perfect, and then like there's like one little thing off.
Yep.
So, I mean, you have to be perfect against a dreadnought deck with that much counter magic. There's no other way.
It's true. I mean, this
So
version,
good though.
this version is like really strong. I just,
Yeah.
but it's just a tough matchup for Sly. It really is.
Yeah, I hear you, man. It's it's what I was hoping to avoid. And I thought for sure you were not going to give me I thought you were going to give me zombies. I'm
I
like,
couldn't. I said I took a beating last time. I'm still like not really over it. That was rough, man. That was rough. But oh, I guess we're gonna mute them now.
yeah, I should do that.
Aaron, tough beat.
Yeah.
We're sorry to see you go. Can you hear us?
Oh my god! Look at this guy.
What? I'm sorry. Was there something else? Sorry about that. Sorry.
Yeah.
PTSD. Let me hit that for you.
Wait. BK and Mike, did you understand? So he did 33-30 because that was the Bills-Vikings score.
Oh, I didn't catch that. Okay. All right. I mean, I saw the end of that game, and so I'm like, because it was
There's no way I would know that.
Yeah.
No, Aaron, he knows how to get under my skin.
Not well enough. It looks like.
I had to get past it.
Oh, well played, man. Always so good to play against you.
Absolutely. Likewise. Yeah. I don't know if you heard us or not, but me and Aaron were saying just like one of the slides were probably second worst matchup is Dreadnought, and when it's got like a slow start, Sly can have really fast starts. I feel like usually like turn one pup is like where you always want to be, right?
Mm-hmm.
Except like the Sly mirror, but you can just give them like a little bit of time to sculpt their hand, and they have counter spells to work with. So, and then they get the 12-12, and there's not much like Sly can do, you know?
Yeah. I mean, if you look at that last game, like Aaron had 2 interaction pieces, which is like way more than average, and so like you were probably pretty excited, like that you thought that overload was going to resolve, and so
yeah, I actually didn't really love the way that sequence played out, where I had to. What was it? Where you still had open mana or something on my turn. I'm just going like, oh, this sucks.
Yeah, that's when I went then opt end of turn.
Yeah, right. Yep.
Yeah. You actually didn't have the Hydro Blast there, but I was like trying to bluff it, so you'd have to do things like a little out of order. Yep. But the op was good because the op found the Dreadnought finally, I think. Yeah.
Nice. Yep.
Yeah, we were just saying that. Yeah, obviously you put up a great run, Aaron, during the Swiss, and it's a little bit unfortunate that you just get slapped in the face against a 3-0 in the semifinals with the Dreadnought. But I mean,
variance goes both ways though. 100%. Drawing 4 Fire Blasts in one game, like with 2 mountains, like that's gonna happen sooner or later.
Yeah.
And then being 1 damage short twice, that also happens. So.
Yeah, there's so many times where I feel like I'm looking at the red deck, and it's usually against a matchup like this where I'm just like, oh, the Dreadnought deck's going to win, and then like a Dreadnought comes down, and then like the red deck is just like an inch away from stealing that game.
Yeah. It's so hard against the mono blue with all that counter magic, because there's just always an answer, and it's always an answer that a player like Tom saves for exactly the right moment. He's not going to waste that. The stifles on the fetches were huge. They kept me off of Fire Blast.
Okay.
I mean, that was expert level Dreadnought play.
Did you board out the Fire Blast post board? I forgot to look how you were boarding.
No, I did. So I did 2 vortexes, 2 scrolls, and a lava dart out, and then blast and overloads in.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, it's just because I was wondering if like you had the room to cut the Fire Blast because it's rough against Hydro Blast, but lava dart, first scroll, they're definitely worse, right?
No, I think it's one of the strongest spells against you because I have to race.
Yeah, true. That's part of
some of the times I just have to respond with I win.
I've never been on that side of it. Like I wasn't sure how you were going to board, or like I just wasn't sure.
Yeah, a lot of times it comes down to if you can sneak a Fire Blast in. Like if you're doing your card draw stuff at the end of my turn, and I can just hammer you with one. If you're trying to sculpt the hand, and that time, I was always like a turn late or a point of damage low. So, well played.
No, you too. And I mean, drawing 4 is like.
Oh God, that was bad. That was real rough.
It's not ideal.
I drew the second one and it felt bad. Then I drew a third. I'm like, oh, what are the freaking chances? And then drawing the 4th, I'm just like, well, screw this game. What am I even doing?
We were trying to figure out what cards you'd be keeping in your hand, and then you just show a hand of all Fire Blasts.
Oh my God!
Yeah, I was wondering, like, I would have had 4 mountains.
Right.
Yeah. At that point, I figured 1 or 2 Fire Blasts. I was like, it's got to be mountains. But I was like, if he has a Fire Blast, and he wants to, good mountains in play. I was like, I don't know what the hell it is, but I would never expect he's got 4 Fire Blasts.
Yeah. I would not have wanted 4 Fire Blasts. I would have traded that for like half the cards of my deck.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even mountains, right? It's like just better. So you can draw the Fire Blast later.
Yep. Oh man, it's gonna be good finals, you and Rich. That's
Yeah, how do you feel about the final match with Rich?
Hold on. If Richard's watching, I want to show him something real quick. Let's see. I had it prepared in case, and if Aaron won, I was going to
what is this? I can't quite see it.
It's
the gremlin that Rich dreads.
It's the ATOG gremlin.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. So
players are trying to find creative ways to get under their opponent's skin for every little advantage that they can get, I guess.
Well, it's great that like every time I play Tom, it's right after a Bills loss. Even when they're on some like ridiculous historic run, just like one of the best teams in the league. Like the week that we play, like there's some chance for me to troll Tom a little bit.
Yeah, I remember you wearing a Jaguars hat one time. A team that historically is not very good, but apparently they managed to beat the Bills that one week. So yeah. Yeah. Aaron, is there anything you want to add since we won't be seeing you necessarily tomorrow night? So
no, just what a pleasure to be a part of this again. I told Flint at the start of this when he asked if I wanted to do it again, I'm like, I'm never gonna say no to a PSS. It's such a blast, and this group was super cool the whole way through. We've had a ton of fun every time I've gotten a chance to do this, and thank you so much for having me. And I have no idea who to root for in the finals because Tom and Rich are both super good dudes and super, super great players. So it's super cool to see you guys fight it out.
You were 20-1, and then you became the first seed.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, sometimes you don't care about enchantments.
Yeah. All right.
Vegas loves a lot of money on
their own. Yeah. I'm trying to think if is there anything else about the match that we want to talk about?
I mean, it was so straightforward. I mean, it's sort of exactly what you expect to see out of both of these decks.
Yeah. I know there have been times where you've kind of, Aaron, you've played around with your sideboard slots. I think it was probably when Dreadnought was a little bit more prevalent in the metagame.
Yeah.
Was Dreadnought something you had in mind when you built your Sly sideboard, or do you think most of the time you were just thinking it was going to get banned?
No, actually, I knew that I was going to get to play Sly more this time around. Last time that I was in the PSS, everybody banned Sly like over and over and over again. I think putting Fluctuator in was the perfect lightning rod to get to play Sly. Just because there's some decks that just don't have an answer to Fluctuator that have to do something about it. So I knew I was going to get to play Sly, and my thought was that I was going to avoid certain matchups, and I walked right into one of them with Rich, and I walked right into one of them with Tom. Both of the times the bans really bit me pretty hard. I thought that Tom and I both banned each other's Sly decks last time, and I felt pretty good playing zombies in those other matchups with the discard to hamper both of his other decks. So when he banned zombies, that was a big surprise, and I immediately, like, I think even chatting with you, I'm like, shoot. Now I have to do this.
Yeah.
And against Rich, I did the same thing. Like, oh shoot, now I didn't think he was gonna be afraid of Fluctuator.
Mm-hmm.
And he knew to ban it, and he should have banned it, but I thought that I was gonna sneak that one in there. And sure enough, I had to play Sly against Parfait, which is the thing I have the worst matchup against. So Sly lost to Parfait, Sly lost to Dreadnought. All is right in the world. That's what's supposed to happen.
Sure.
You're the only person not to change their ban, actually. Everybody else changed theirs, right?
Really?
Like
Yeah.
Aaron was the only person that banned the same thing twice.
Well, see, I figure we're just gonna do the thing where we do the, this, what is it? The Princess Bride, Sicilian standoff thing. Like, well, if he does this, then I'll do this, and I'll change this poison, and like, no, we're, if you thought it was a good idea last time, you think it's a good idea this time. Don't try to puzzle it out.
All right. That's all I have for you guys. Is there anything else you guys want to say before we let you go?
Yeah, I'll just add in Aaron, great run. Like, I was rewatching his games if I didn't catch them the same night or whatever. Like, he played like flawless. I mean, 7-1. I wasn't sure if that was ever done in the PSS. But yeah, like the field of players was definitely like intimidating. So he went 7-1, with those odds, Gabe gave him whatever. But like I told Aaron, his lineup was like flawless. I felt like, it's funny. Fluctuator is kind of like a meme deck, right? But it's not, because it was banned before, right? So like,
Yeah,
it's just there's some decks that can't interact and they're gonna lose to it. That was really interesting. Honestly, I think you had the best lineup. When we even submitted the first time and I saw your list, I was like, that is actually rough to pick one. It really was. And I made a mistake the first time. I banned zombies. Oh, no, I banned Slide.
Mm-hmm.
And that was horrible, right? I took a beating. It would have been either deck I chose. So I was like, I had to ban Slide this time and just hope, it was like a favorable matchup. But you did a really good job like picking the three. It was like smart, very smart.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people just from reading stuff really enjoyed your lineup. So,
good.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, it was a blast.
All right, we'll let you go, players, and then we will see Tom, and then we're going to see Rich tomorrow. So we'll have our finals. BK and I are just going to do a quick outro as we let you guys go.
Right on.
All right,
thanks everybody.
Thanks for the great games.
All right, let's bring up this graphic, I guess. So we have our finalists. We will have Rich Shea up against Tom Metelsky. We're going to be doing our finals tomorrow at our normal scheduled time, Thursday, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern. So just to reiterate how that format will work. So players are going to ban a deck as normal. They're going to play, they're going to pick a deck and play a match. They're going to do a best 2 out of 3. Then after that one is done, they're going to play another best 2 out of 3 with the other non-banned deck. And if one player wins 2 of those matches, they're the PSS4 champion. If they split, they will then play a third best of 3 match with the decks that were banned. So we have the potential to have 9 games of Magic for this final. And it will be exciting regardless of how many games, but definitely I'm anticipating some really good play between Rich and Tom and really looking forward to it. Anything you want to add, BK, for the finals matchup that we're seeing tomorrow?
How much of it do you think is trying to trap the other player into having like their last deck be a bad matchup against your last?
So the thing is, like,
I was thinking about this a lot when I saw the setup.
If you can do that without like the cost of giving yourself a bad matchup, because like the problem is like if you're doing that would weaken one of the matchups that is guaranteed to be played, then it's not worth it. But if you can kind of position it somehow, then maybe it would be really interesting. Because I guess then they also will, because the first choice is there's going to be 2 decks available, so you kind of have to say, okay, like what deck might I play and what deck might they play. But then the other 2 matches are determined what you're going to know what you're up against, I guess is what I'm saying. I don't know if that changes anything either. Like there are certain decks that you would feel like it would be better. Like the Dreadnought deck might be better in match 1 because you might get one game where they don't mulligan. Because in match 2 and match 3, the opponent is going to know what deck they're on. So that's the only thing I could think of. But then if that's known, then you might just do a new leveling process, and I don't know, it just keeps going from there.
Yeah, it'll be cool. I can't wait to see it.
Yep, it'll be fun. So yeah, if you're available, we're going to be wrapping up the PSS4 tomorrow with our finals, and we will see you then. But I guess I want to thank everyone who was able to tune in at our less traditional scheduled time. Thank you, BK, for jumping in the booth with me and going through these matches. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, me too.
Thanks, BK, for a great season, a job well done. I don't know, did you get to do kind of like your sign off from the last match? Did you want the stage so you can?
I don't know if I did. I don't know. I mean, it was a great experience. I love playing. It was really interesting every week trying to figure out like what the logic trees would be and like what I thought my opponent was going to do and what they did. I probably should have played Parfait in that last match. But I wanted to prove those barrack fiends were.
Yeah.
That was my big chance, the biggest detractor.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Rock was probably the best choice though for that matchup.
I wouldn't.
It just bounced bad.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, with that, I guess we'll close things out. So, thanks everyone who was able to tune in. Thanks for the support, the follows, and the subs, everyone. Thanks for everyone keeping things moving with chat. Had a lot of fun, and we will see you tomorrow. So, until next time, take care.